Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. A nursery rhyme recited for over a century. But was it truth or legend? Behind the rhyme lies a brutal double murder, a fractured family, and a woman who became synonymous with horror. This is the case of Lizzie Borden. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name's Cashel. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Each week I try my absolute best to teach you about a true crime case that hopefully you have never heard of, although I'm sure you will have heard of this one. I'm trying to do slightly more well-known cases occasionally, so this is obviously one of the more well-known ones, although I'm not sure a lot of people know the true story of it, so if you don't, let's get into it. I don't believe I have any trigger warnings for today, but if you don't want to hear about this and you've clicked on it by mistake, I will post an alternative above my head. Content warning, as always, strong language. Lizzie Borden was born on July 19th in 1860 in Fall River, Massachusetts, to Andrew, a wealthy yet notoriously frugal businessman, and his first wife, Sarah Borden. Her mother Sarah died in 1863, so when Lizzie was just 3 years old. Andrew would go on to remarry a woman named Abby. This was a woman that Lizzie never really accepted as her mother. It was quite known that Lizzie did not like this woman. Lizzie and her older sister Emma remained very close with each other, but their relationship with Abby was strained. They refused to refer to her as mother, which I think is fair, but they decided to refer to her as Mrs. Borden. Like I said previously, their dad was a successful businessman. He was very, very wealthy. He owned multiple properties, a furniture business, bank shares. It was said at the time of his death he was estimated to be worth between 10 and 15 million in today's money. But he was incredibly frugal. The Bordens lived very modestly. Their home was quite a small little home. Considering how much money they had, it was a very small little home. It was on 2nd Street and it lacked indoor plumbing and sat uncomfortably close to the city's industrial district. For Lizzie, this modest lifestyle was a massive contrast to her family's wealth. She couldn't quite understand why they were living the way they were living when he had enough money to live nicely. Like, he's got all this money and they don't even have indoor plumbing or running water, may I add. So he was a fucking tight ass. I wouldn't be happy with that either if my parents had all these millions and we didn't have plumbing or water. Emma and Lizzie were embarrassed by their family's frugal ways. Like, there was no reason for them to be living the way that they were. It's like an 1800s version of extreme cheapskates. The elites of Fall River actually just looked down on the family, and Lizzie longed for a higher social standing. People described Lizzie as sweet, harmless. She was alright at school. She was very active in her church. She would teach Sunday school quite often. But she had an affliction of being a bit of a klepto. So she just kept nicking shit from places. And her dad actually had an agreement with the shopkeepers. Basically, he knew what his daughter was like and went, if she nicks anything, just stick it on my tab. Like, how crazy is that? It's said by the early 1890s, the Borden house had become something of a place of resentment and quiet tension, so it sounds really relaxing to live in. Lizzie and Emma were getting quite pissed off as they felt that Andrew was favouring Abby's relatives, and this was only made worse when they found out that Andrew had bought Abby's half-sister a house. I'd be pissed too. Servants would later testify that the sisters refused to eat dinner as a family, and Lizzie ended up stopping speaking to Abby altogether. In July 1892, Andrew went into the family's barn and killed a group of pigeons, and he didn't realise that Lizzie had been, well, he might have realised, but Lizzie had been caring for these pigeons, and she was absolutely fucking furious that he had done this. This was just another crack in the family dynamic, and one of the maids said that it was after this incident that people started getting ill. Everyone except for Bridget Sullivan, she was an Irish maid that they had on the staff, but everyone else suffered from like violent food poisoning. But Abby suspected that it was actual poisoning. But from what the maid said, they were eating this soup and it was like the 4th or 5th day that they were eating it. So it's probably just the disgusting shit you're eating, to be honest. But Abby thought that the girls were trying to poison the family. August 4th, 1892. Andrew had left home early to go and run some errands, and Abby ended up staying behind because she wanted to change the bed linens. Bridget was cleaning the windows and she was complaining that she had a headache. Don't know if that's relevant. Around 9 a.m, Abby went upstairs to make the bed in the guest room, and it was here that she was struck 19 times in the head with a hatchet, which is unnecessary overkill. Andrew returned home around 10:45 a.m. and Lizzie greeted him when he returned. He ended up laying down on the sitting room sofa to rest, and within minutes he was attacked too, and he was struck 10 or 11 times in the head. He was rendered unrecognisable. Bridget was upstairs resting from her headache, and she heard Lizzie cry out, "Come quick, father's dead." Police arrived shortly after, and both parents were found brutally murdered. Andrew's body was still warm. Police said that there was something about Lizzie's calm, collected demeanour that unsettled them, but Lizzie had no blood on her anywhere. Lizzie's behaviour ended up raising suspicions from the start. Her story just kept changing about where she was when. First she said she was in the barn, then she said she was in the loft, then she was in the garden eating a pear, and she claimed she heard none of the attack on either of parents. Police noted that Lizzie had burned or boiled a blue dress. It's unclear if it's burned or boiled a blue dress after getting paint on it. It said that she brushed onto some paint or something like that, but everyone found this really strange because dresses back then were ridiculously expensive, so you wouldn't just destroy it because it had a bit of paint on it. The murder weapon was a hatchet, and it was found in the house. It was just the top of it though, there was no handle. Despite the clues, investigators fucked up most of the evidence. Obviously in 1892 it's not how it was now when people were just walking all over the crime scene. Fingerprinting obviously wasn't a common tool, and yeah, the crime scene was totally contaminated. No blood-stained clothing was ever found and definitively linked to Lizzie. It was said that she had a small spot of blood on her underwear, but she told police this was her period, and obviously it's 1892 and they went, "Oh, disgusting witch, whatever, no more questions." But the public suspicion around Lizzie was growing, and nobody had seen any stranger around the house around the time that they were killed. On August 6th, Abby and Andrew were buried, and on August 11th, Lizzie was arrested on suspicion of murdering her father and stepmother. Lizzie's trial began on June 5th, 1893. In New Bedford, Massachusetts, and it captivated Americans. It was the trial of the century, as they called it. People were waiting outside the courtroom, just trying to get a glimpse of her. They were trying to get into the courtroom. Everyone wanted to know first what was going on with this case and what had happened. The prosecution argued that Lizzie had killed Abby out of a deep resentment, and then she'd had to kill Andrew to conceal her crime. But when they found Andrew, they think he had literally just been killed, like he was warm. They also think he was asleep when he was attacked. They presented the burned/boiled dress as evidence, as well as the hatchet. And they painted Lizzie as this cunning and deceitful, horrible little woman. She was the only person that they believed had the opportunity to commit this crime. The defence, however, was equally strong. They highlighted a lack of physical evidence, the absence of blood on Lizzie's clothes. That just didn't make sense. The sheer brutality of the attack alone, the time it would have taken to do it, and to be able to clean yourself so well, hide your clothes that they'd never be found, wash yourself and everything else in between, and then call the police and raise the alarm bells before anyone else notices them, and the body's still warm. It just, I don't know. Lizzie's composure in court absolutely fascinated the press. She dressed in black for each day of the trial, and her calm demeanour really divided opinion, whether it was dignity or a cold detachment. I'm really torn on this. I am more leaning towards that she didn't do it. But she hated her stepmother, she resented her father, so she has the motive, don't get me wrong. But a murder like this, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes strength, it takes a bit more planning, and there's just no evidence really linking her to it. Do you want to know what's really fucking crazy though? So they actually bought, sorry, this is not funny, I'm laughing because I'm so shocked and horrified that this actually happened. They brought into court Andrew and Abby's skulls to show the damage that had been done. Yeah. So Lizzie fainted when these were brought out, as I think most people would if you saw your dad and your stepmom's skulls after they'd been caved in. What the hell? That's not right. Yeah, this was to show what had happened to their skulls and show that the hatchet does in fact fit in there. That is, no, I don't like it. Emma actually defended Lizzie at the trial and said that she had told her to do what she did with the dress. She said she'd got paint on a dress before and this is how you get it out. After 2 weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for about 90 minutes and they came back with the verdict, not guilty. The courtroom absolutely erupted in applause and poor Lizzie fainted again, but this time in relief. After her acquittal, Lizzie kind of changed her name and she was then going by Lisbeth. But her and her sister ended up buying a lavish house together, what they'd always wanted. They named the house Maplecroft and they bought it in the most fashionable part of Fall River. I think they both inherited around $350,000 of what it would be in today's money each. But of course she was free, but now her life is drastically different. Her community shunned her. Neighbours crossed the street to avoid her, children were whispering things about her, and then someone came up with the rhyme. Lizzie ended up living to the age of 66, and she passed away on June 1st, 1927 of pneumonia. Her sister Emma died just a few days later, and they are both buried next to each other, next to their parents, in Oak Grove Cemetery. To this day, the murders remain officially unsolved. So Lizzie is either one of America's first female monsters, or a really misunderstood woman. Either way, Lizzie Borden took way more than an axe and she carved her name into history. But what do you think about this one? Because I really am unsure. I'd love to know. I wish things like this would be deathbed confessions, because I would love to know if she actually did do it. But I just don't think she did. And maybe that's me being naive. Maybe it's because as a woman. I'm like, no. Lizzie? Of course not. But I really don't think she did it. So I'd love to know everyone's opinion on this. I also can remember the first time I read this poem and it absolutely, I've still got the poem book downstairs, it absolutely terrified me. It really shit me up. I think I was only about between 6 and 8, and I remember reading it. I had this book of great poems and it's in there, and I read it and my blood literally ran cold. It really scared me. And I kind of never went back to it after that, and then I've kind of grown up and then seen things about it every now and again. But it is a really freaky poem, factually inaccurate, but it's really, really creepy. Whoever came up with it, though, genius. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on this one. I think I'm very 50-50, but I'm more 60-40 that she didn't do it. So please let me know. Positive thought of the day. My positive thought of the day isn't really a thought, it's more of a mission. I've neglected my Kindle this month. I've been so bad at reading, and normally I'm really good with my reading and I love it. But because I've been so busy, I am filming this on what day is this? On the 25th of October. So hopefully in a few weeks you'll see that I've got back into it. But because I've been so busy filming and editing for Halloween week, I've just neglected it. I just haven't had time. I've been so focused on my YouTube, which I really hope pays off. So my positive thought is more of a mission to pick up my Kindle again and start reading, because I do love reading. It's great. You get to escape reality for a little while, and can't put a price on that. But I hope everyone has a beautiful week. I will see you next week. I'm not sure what for yet, but it will be for something. I need to stop saying what it's going to be, because then I make promises I don't want to keep. But make good choices. Don't have axes in the house. There's no need to be a tight ass. Everyone should have indoor plumbing. Stay spooky, not stupid. I'll see you next week. Love you, bye. Oh, disgusting witch. Whatever, no more questions. Notoriously frivolous. No, not frivolous, frugal. Stink of onion. Sexy. So she just kept nicking shit when she shot. 1982. I don't like it. Sorry. What the hell? That's not right. That is no... See? Of course not.